welcome to the fucking commentary of Cartman's game. Now let's see, what is Cartman on today? He is on the Misfortune with Rakan against Darius Braum. That's gonna be a pretty shitty matchup if he fucks up. And knowing Cartman, if he feeds one kill, he's gonna tilt off the face of the earth. Now let's see what else we have for the matchups. A Riven versus a Ryze, not a matchup that particularly familiar with, although I imagine that it is going to be pretty snowbally. If Ryze even gets slightly ahead, he's going to destroy Riven, and if Riven can one-shot Ryze, she'll destroy him. Jungle matchup. Vi. I don't think Vi is going to be very good into this team, but you know, if she ganks well in the early game, maybe she'll be able to do something. And last of all, we have Kayn. If Kayn gets ahead, he should be able to do anything, although I'm not really sure who really he'll be looking to assassinate on the red team. And finally, in the mid lane, we have Ahri and Zed. And if solo queues taught me anything, Zed's probably gonna fucking just insta-kill every time. Now, Kayn's doing a typical wrap to start, whereas the blue side are starting with blue. Now let's see what pathing. He's going to go straight to the red. Whereas, okay, Darius steals the blue buff with his passo. It looks like we're going to have to go back and see that again in slow motion. Oh, look at that. Let's see that again in super slow-mo. Here we go, here we go. Gets it down to... Oh! That was so close. That is a genuine unlucky. I actually feel kinda bad. But anyway, that means that Vi is got herself in a pretty bad position. I imagine, judging from the fact that Darius is staying still, that they are currently flaming each other. Vi at least gets... Vi refuses help from Braum to do the wolves and instead is going to do the Krug. This should mean an advantage for the blue team, who should get the push advantage. And in the top lane, Ryze is doing Ryze things, although Riven has got a good trade, and honestly, when they're both on this low health, oof, that's going to lead to a kill. Now I believe Vi did attempt the bot lane gank, but... Oh. Ooh. That is a very close thing in the top lane. But let's have a look at the bot lane for now. Have a look at the CS. Cartman, typically, is missing his C... Oh! I think this could actually be... Right, okay. Let's go back. Let's go back and see how this happens. So, here we go. We have them going along like this. Oh! Good play from Riven, and she manages to survive. Lost the cannon minion, but good trade nonetheless. Ryze is going to lose a lot of minions to that. Right, let's head over to the midway. Zed is out CSing Ahri. It's not typically surprising since Zed is a lot easier to CS with, and he's also got the poke advantage. I expect Zed to solo kill Ahri at some point, because yeah, just from the early aiming at all, you can see that Ahri is not able to dodge Zed's Qs. That is a pretty bad oh. What's this? Is this a... Oh, it's a kill. Let's see how this actually happened. Oh. Yep, I think that was a very lucky invade by Kayn. I don't think Kayn was truly expecting to find Vi there. But oh. Good follow-up from Ahri to get that kill in the mid lane as well. Very impressive. I think Zed will probably still get a solo kill on Ahri, but at the very least, she's got an advantage for now. Ooh, that Rakan was very lucky. If Darius has actually pulled off the apprehend, I actually think that would have been a kill. Also notice that Cartman has already expended the flash. It's a pretty tough look. Oh, now that Darius has used his apprehend, he should be... Didn't get the cannon minion. Oh, that's gotta be a tilter. I don't really know why Cartman's even playing this game anymore, but oh my god, that's... I'm not sure trades like that are going to be particularly good at this stage in the game. I really think that they need to poke the Darius and Braum down. It is much easier said than done given Darius's threat range. But I think Darius has now dropped to a level of health where blue team could actually win the all-in with a Rakan engage. But what do we see? We see a Vi coming down river. Now is this going to be a successful gank? Oh, I think this is going to be deadly. That was a... That was a pretty well executed gank setup by Darius, and he gets himself ahead. Meanwhile in the mid lane, Zed continues to completely outplay Ahri. But it looks like Kayn is there to help, but alas, he is sat on a ward. Is that ward able to see him? Yes it is. So that is not going to be a surprise for Zed at all. Now we can see that Cartman has gone with the interesting strat of not actually buying an item. Looking at his... he must be saving up for a BF sword, which is fair enough. Then... Oh, that's a big wave for Cartman here. Do I think he's going to get a cannon minion? This is going to be the next step. Or he shouldn't be able to fuck this one up. Ah, and he gets the cannon minion. That's a good play from Carp. He should be able to close that CS gap a bit. Oh. Riven gets a... Oh, a lot of action all of a sudden. I think this Kayn is completely dead. And they're going to start the Drake. It's always unfortunate when you die right beside an objective, because it literally just means that the enemy team can just take that straight away. And it is an Infernal Drake, which I think for the red team is a pretty good bait Drake for them to have. So, the state of Zed has now got himself a kill. And since he was already, I feel, outplaying Ahri, I feel like that this Ahri is in a bit of trouble. However, okay, she doesn't have ult. Oof. Yeah, this Ahri is... Oh, and Ahri missed the cannon minion. Yeah, this is not good. The only lane that I can see is... I mean, it's quite a close... It's only a 500 gold lead for the blue team, which is somewhat surprising, but I imagine that's entirely down to Riven. So yep, we have Riven is 750 gold ahead. Oh, for the blue team gank. Well executed by Kayn. Kayn has actually made himself quite useful. He's actually performed this game quite well. But unfortunately, let's have a look again to see whether or not Cartman did get that cannon minion after the kill. I mean, I wonder if Kayn stole it from him. Or no one got the cannon minion. Oh, that's gotta be a tilter. Now in the mid lane, Zed has gone back, and Ari does find herself with a small CS lead, and they are basically even on gold. And in the top lane, Riven, up 800 gold, has got some sustain, and to be honest should be able to just all-in Ryze at any time. Now if we look at the junglers, we can see that Kayn has gone for the blue smite, whereas Vi has gone for the red smite. Now you can certainly see why you would go for the blue smite on Kayn, but I think the red smite probably would have been better for helping him in duels against, you know, Zed, Vi and Ryze, but you know, I feel like he doesn't really have that much issue actually getting onto people, so I feel like the red smite would be better, but you know, it's not a bad choice. Now Rakan's heading to the bot lane now, and that is an exceptionally aggressive position. Cartman, this is another cannon minion. It's going to be very upsetting for him. I'm surprised he hasn't already disconnected. Oh, but we have a gank in the mid lane by Vi. That was pretty well played by Ari. She actually had the advantage on Zed there, but Zed has flash, and to be honest, I'm not sure where a kill's going to happen next. If I guess, I'd reckon, you know, if I was Zed, I'd probably go in for like a W, flash, auto. But the stopwatch does fend that off, and now Zed can no longer dive. So that is definitely a win. She does use her stopwatch, but she is getting Zhonya's first, so that's not going to be the biggest. She will have the active back shortly, I imagine. Zed cannot afford to go back at this time. Yeah, just clear this wave. Doesn't even bother using E, because why would you clear the wave? If I was Zed, I would have cleared out the next wave as well, because you already had to go back later. Oh my god, they've decided on them all then. I think Rakan's dead. Ooh, Rakan. Oh my god. An aggressive flat. Ooh, that's a tilter. That's a tilter. Cartman doesn't have any mana left, so he's not going to win against Vi either. That's a very, very unfortunate trade. That could have been a kill on both Braum and Darius, and unfortunately they get a kill on either. A very tilt-worthy game indeed. Now, let's have a look at the item builds. Oh, no time for that. Looks like we've got another thing in the mid lane. Zed goes in. He hits a shuriken, but he gets a trade kill, and we can see that Red Kayn has been selected, which I think is, yeah, that's fine. That's reasonable. They're having a lot of CC is probably what this team needs. Back to the item builds. There's not really much to say. Oh, looks like we're going for an all-in. Riven whiffs her ult, and that would have netted her the kill. Hopefully that's not going to be too painful for her. Oh. But it looks like in the mid lane there was a kill on Vi, so let's see how that went down. So we have Vi, who's 3/4 health, and she decides to go in at... Oh, that's a good engage by Rakan. Didn't stand a chance. Don't know why Rakan went back into turret range, but not only does that a kill picked up, but that's the first turret. And blue team are in the lead by 2k, which is quite a significant amount. Now if we look at where the gold lead actually lies, we can see that most of it lies with Riven and Kayn. However, unfortunately, the misfortune is actually down on the Darius, and Rakan is ahead of Braum. Actually, Ari is also down on Zed, but let's have a look here to see what happens. Cartman does whiff the ult a bit, but that's 2 kills picked up for nothing. And that's now jumping to a 3k gold lead for the blue team. They have the option of gank top lane, does shut down the Riven, and that gold lead that Riven has shrunk to barely 800 gold, and it's probably going to be less after Ryze actually manages to clear out this wave. I think it's the correct choice here to go for the turret. I reckon they should also go for the Drake, but Ahri is currently not achieving much. She's going to try and secure herself the enemy's blue buff if Kayn lets her, which he does, which is nice of him. And they're going to go down for the Drake. In the meantime, it looks like it's going to be a trade for the Rift Herald, which, you know, depends how well they use the Rift Herald. Rakan uses his ult a bit. Oh, he baits in Braum by completely whiffing his ult, but Braum is able to get away. And Rakan fails another engage, so Rakan isn't having the best game. Or at the very least, not the best play. Riven once again kills Ryze in the top lane without losing any health. Let's see how that went down. Oh, gets caught on the ward. Oh. Despite the fact she misses a lot of her skills, she's just able to completely one-shot him. There is absolutely no respect from this Ryze in terms of the build he's gone for, but no time for that. Because it looks like 600 gold shut down, that's huge, and that gold lead has shrunk to 500 gold. On the side note, Ryze's build is completely disrespectful, and it's also a bad build. You do not finish due to the changes of Archangels. Now Red Team are actually finding themselves just a bit in, basically even, but slightly in the lead. Now, Ryze is completely useless, but I don't even think the Red Team even need Ryze to win. I don't think that... I reckon Riven can be matched in the 1v1 by either Darius or Zed, so I don't think Ryze matters. As a side note, you shouldn't complete Archangels now unless your tier is actually fully stacked. Because, due to a fairly recent change, you don't get the percent mana to your AP. It's only half of what it could be until you're fully stacked and it turns into a Seraphs. Now we can see that on the top side, the Braum has joined Ryze, which is a smart move, I feel. And all looks like they're looking for a collapse now. Unfortunately for Darius, he did show himself, but so they're not going to be able to get the trap. But again, the red people have successfully rotated through an objective, and the blue team haven't got anything. They've got a death brush, but let's be honest, who's going to fall for that? The red team have no reason to be pushing up there. Now, in terms of the next objectives, Dragon's up in probably about 3 minutes, and it is only an Ocean Drake. Baron's not up for 4 minutes, and I'd say that both teams could actually take it quite quickly, but I don't expect them to do so. But looks like we've got another skirmish here. Zed is going to be shut down most likely. Yes, he is. Good for him. Karma doesn't even get an assist on that kill, which is very unfortunate for him, being 1, 2 and 4 at the moment. And I believe he is over 1,000 gold down, and Ahri is also quite a lot of money down, but Ahri does make herself useful actually. Oh, and is that a kill from Misfortune? Yes, it is. the blue team actually managed to pull back in the lead, and eventually, in lower elos, it is always very unfortunate when the enemies die right next to objectives, because typically in low elo they don't think about objectives, but when you actually die right next to an objective, they don't need to think, they can just do it. That's why it's always important never to die next to an objective in low elo, because the enemy team might actually do something with the kill they just got. And honestly, out of nowhere, blue team get a 3k gold lead and a mid lane inhibitor out of absolutely nowhere. Now, looking at Cartman's build, it is only the Youmuu's. Given the team he's up against, not quite sure if that is the best choice, all things considered. Then again, given how they have itemised, it's not actually too bad, but I'd have reservations building flat armor pen against essentially a bunch of bruisers. But considering that Vi and Ryze have built full squishy, in complete disrespect, in the case I say Ryze. And this is even worse, Ryze, despite being absolutely shat on by the Riven, not going for the Seeker's Arm Guard, which would definitely help him out. I would have to wonder how... Ooh, now I believe this Riven has just gifted herself as a shutdown, but Rakan does come in and save her. But I still think that this Darius is going to pick up a kill. I don't think Cartman actually had much reason to... This Ryze is really fucking stupid. Feeding himself to the enemy team like he's UNICEF. He is currently got an incomplete tier and an Lethal Wisp. I don't really think Cartman needed to get away from him, but then again, Cartman doesn't really have a good build for extended trade. He has more of a burst one or for killing people with null. Now it's going to be a free Ocean Drake, and not really much to see here. Red team have got... Red team are a pretty bad disadvantage in terms of scaling. In terms of scaling, I would say that the blue team does have slightly better scaling, because they do have an ADC. Even though there's not much crit optimization now, you could easily switch that up to 8, you know, crit itemization down the line. I mean, again, if we actually look at who's fed on either team, we can see that the most fed person on the blue team is in fact Kayn, and the most fed person on the blue team is in fact the Zed. So basically it's the two assassins. Now Kayn is going to clear Baron Vision, which is, you know, very good, and blue team are around and they have mid priority. This is very good for doing Baron, and they've got Rift. They're just gonna do it. Now this is a very this is a really risky call. They don't have any... I reckon this is going to go exceptionally badly for the blue team, but we will have to see. Rakan goes in too early and gets killed. Oh! And, you know, my prediction, spot on. Blue team get heavily punished, and Cartman makes a tilt play and feeds himself to the red team, who now got themselves back in the gold game. Now if I had a gold graph, I could see that it would be seesawing, because really this game has been a real game of catch, where the blue team is trying to throw the game to the red team and the red team being throwing it back, but it looks like Red team do actually have the game in their hands at the moment, and I didn't really think that there'd be much way for the red team to get back into this, but classic Baron throw will do that for the red team, and they are hopefully going to make full advantage of this. Now, the smart thing for the red team to do, I believe, would be go for a 4-1 formation with Zed splitting, because really, what is Ahri going to be doing against Zed? She should have her Zhonya's complete, but I think Zed can actually... Oh, looks like... I would have gone in for the all-in... Oh, Zed is probably... Yep, here we go. I think it even... Yep, there we go. Ahri's used ult, Zed's used ult, but Zed's ult is on a lower cooldown. Oh, looks like a fight has started. Oh, this is a perfect opportunity to ult for Cart, but he doesn't do it. And then he ults a Braum shield. But Riven is able to clean up that fight pretty well, and blue team once again find themselves a little advantage. But Zed doesn't manage to get the shutdown on Riven, and he may end up dead for his hubris, but real questionable flash there from Kayn. He wasn't even close to the wall. I actually think Kayn gets completely overtaken by his own hubris, and Zed punishes him heavily. Once again, red team find themselves in the gold lead after blue team briefly had a chance at getting back into that. Ryze's build is absolutely disrespectful beyond belief. He's going for a Liandry's next. Really, I should stop talking about the Ryze because he is a complete irrelevancy in the game. Much like I'm sure the player is in real life, but that is a truly awful and disrespectful build, and he has been punished for it. Now, looks like Ahri is getting punished herself. She thought she had an opportunity when she took down the Vi to half health, but had no vision on the map. To be honest, we haven't really been looking at vision. We can see quite a lot of wards in the bot side jungle. Quite a lot of defensive vision for blue and red around there. Now, as I was saying earlier, red team want to be doing a 4-1 or possibly a 1-3-1, because I believe Darius is also a strong split pusher. I actually think Darius wins this duel, but let's see if this happens. Yep. Oh, Ryze is... I mean, honestly, Ryze wouldn't have made a difference in that, but Rakan makes a good play, but red team are pushing heavily on this top side, and I'm honestly... I don't know what the fuck Ryze is doing here, to be honest. Baiting in his teammates into a false sense of security. However, I reckon that, yeah, he's going to win that duel. Riven, you know, he didn't even fucking use his Archangels. Couldn't even find the fucking key to use it. Riven, you know, Riven thinking that it's just going to be a repeat performance of shitting on him in the laning phase, goes on him on less 10% health, and gets duly, well, regrets a mistake. Now it looks like it's a Earthstrike now. This is certainly having, I believe that, you know, having more than... Oh, Ryze going in for the steal, is she? Nope. Blue team gets the dragon, and that's 2 Earthdrakes, and as I was saying, if you get more than one of the same sort of Drake, I actually think it is stronger than if you get separate ones, because it means that you can actually change your playstyle to focus on one aspect even stronger. But let's have a look here. Yeah, I think Let's have a look at the builds again. Darius has gone, I believe, quite an intelligent build. He's gone quite a lot of armour, and he's got quite a lot of tank. I don't think that Ahri, even Braum, steals the blue buff. Absolute legend. I don't believe Ahri has any kill threat on Darius, even without MR, so I feel he's free to itemise entirely armour. This Ahri is waiting to get killed, but her teammates do ping her back. But whilst this is happening, I believe on the bot side... Oh, we have an exciting team fight here. Oh my goodness gracious, how the... I'm going to have to replay that one because I thought that... Here we go. Miss Fortune flashes away as soon as Zed comes in. And I didn't think she actually took that much damage. Holy Mother of God, electrocute... Oh no, and then that's... Jesus Christ, that is some really fair and balanced gameplay. But, although they do lose that, I reckon Red Team have got this. Oh, chain. Yeah, here we go, we've got the resets from Darius now. That should be just a dunk. And I reckon that should be, if he's... Oh, that's... I mean, as soon as she's out of that Zhonya's, that's gonna be the... Miss times it, but it doesn't fucking matter. Whilst all this is happening, the irrelevant Ryze has made himself somehow relevant by just pushing a wave. Since he has no contribution in team fights, he can just push the waves. As I mentioned before, Red Team are fully capable of winning a fight without him. And given that that's 2 inhibitors, and there's still relatively long death times on the solo laners, I reckon the Red Team can actually look to... That's it, that's... Braum does trade his life, but they did actually manage to get a Nexus turret, and the other Nexus turret, let's see if it falls below that 3rd threshold, because once it's below that 3rd threshold, it's not going to ever gain health with it. Right. I mean, Kayn, who initially was doing so well for the blue team, is now, for the record, the blue turret did not fall below 33% health, so he is actually going to regen up to 2/3, which is certainly good for the blue team, but I reckon Cartman is destined to die within the next 5 seconds, so let's have a look. No. Fortunately for the Misfortune, Zed misclicked his ult onto the Rakan. Certainly fortunate for Cartman, but now will the Darius be able to fight 3v1? I wouldn't have thought so. But we've got Vi here joining the fight, and that's going to be a dead Misfortune. Blue team managed to find a small advantage. They are still significantly behind in gold, but we are approaching a point in the game where gold doesn't matter as much. Especially since... Oh, let's see how that kill goes down. So, it says try... You see, that's a very good interaction for Kayn there. Zed tries to use all of his abilities whilst Kayn drops into untargetable. And it just wins the trade. When you consider that, I mean, this gold lead for Riven's over Ryze has only shrunk to 1,000. So when you consider that, you know, Riven is 1,000 gold ahead of Ryze, who's not even relevant. 1,500 now, thanks to Braum's charity efforts. Oh dear, but whilst this is all going on, the super minions have just waltzed into the blue team space and taken down that last Nexus turret. I do not predict a good result from the blue team. All it takes is one fuck up. With only a single kill, a red team can force 5v4 into the blue team's base and end the game. Ironic, weirdly enough I should say, the blue team turret is still full health in the mid lane. So now that is looks like that they are threatening around Baron for the red team, and that is, I'd actually agree that that's a pretty safe choice. With an exposed Nexus, blue team can't really do anything to counter it, although they do know that they are planning on doing it. Ahri goes in, loses half her health for the trouble. They do get their health down to about half, but Ahri uses her ult and unfortunately Misfortune's dead. But that is a very good ult into a choke point. Waits until the Bronze Shield is down before unleashing. And although Zed has realised that oh my god, they're just going for the win. Blue team are too slow on the take. I actually think this is going to be it. Blue team are too slow to see the teleport, and now, oh my god, what a play from Adversity. I don't think they have the damage to kill him. No, and that's the game. What an end to that game. I think that in the end, Zed going straight for that Nexus, and I think if he hadn't got those few auto attacks on it, Darius would not have been able to finish it. You know, that is the problem with the exposed Nexus. If you go for a play like that, if you lose out even a little bit, to be fair, it looks like a good situation for the blue team, but Zed actually had the presence of mind to completely rush the Nexus, and Darius followed up with a TP. Honestly, blue team looks like they could have won at points, but unfortunately, they just made too many wrong decisions, and this Ryze gets completely carried because an absolute garbage player with an absolute garbage build. I reckon that Cartman could have won this game if he had secured a few more cannons. And that will be the end of my recording.